Alright, so last session. Versi told the party again about the prophecy. She whispered to everybody and told them special things that they needed to know. So the party heads off to Astoria. On the way, they swore an oath of fellowship. They stopped at a vineyard that was handled by friends of Kyra. Oh, in their sleep, they were spoken to by Lutheria. They awoke in the morning and went on to Astoria. They met with King Pythor, who was incredibly drunk, and told them about the fact that the Order of Sidon wanted Princess Honora, his daughter, to be sacrificed by the next full moon, which would be at the end of the week. Everybody is particularly unimpressed by the godliness of Pythor. They go and they talk to Vulcan, who gave them a little bit of guidance, saying that there were some dwarves that they could meet, and they set out to explore the city. Nehmet and Nausicaa went to go visit the Shrine of Estor, and there was literally nothing there of interest. The others walked about in the Agora, trying to locate Ylva's familiar face that Versi told her that she could be finding in the city, and she finds Haskell, who is a similarly dressed moon elf that she stalks up to and has a long conversation with. Ariel learns how to peel an orange. Afterwards, they all decide to go to the Dragon's Tooth, wait for the dwarves, and get some food. They meet the posse of dwarves, and one of the dwarves offers to guide them to the mine, one named Kreon. Nothing of importance happens after that. That is literally everything that happened.
Lend us your ears and rejoice now, for we are the chosen of Versi.
Alright, so you all wake up at differing times, obviously. First off, I have a question for Ylva.
Yes.
How early do you wake up in comparison to Ato?
I have a pretty high passive perception, and honestly, I'm presuming that I don't sleep great tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably wake up as soon as I hear him shuffling around, doing whatever he does.
Okay. Are you going to leave him alone? Head back into the city?
I'll probably just stay and watch, see what he's doing.
Okay. Ato, we're moving into the Whispers real fast.
That was a good secret.
Yeah. Someone's 600 gold richer.
What?
What?
Those are perks of sleeping outside of the city.
Mm-hmm. That's why Arisia is the most rich area. They just find random gems in the sand.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
All right. Do you want to head back in to the city when you're done with your kata or whatever it is?
Yes.
All right. So you all meet up in the, what is it called? The Dragon's Tooth. So most of you wake up bright and early. How is the character development for Ariel going? Are you still waking up at? Do you have to be woken up by somebody?
I mean, after darkness last night, yeah, no, she's not waking up early.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, Kyra, roll a perception check while sleeping.
That's a natural 18. Or something. 2, that's a 20.
You feel like in your sleep, like you're about to be interrupted, and you open your eyes, and Kyra is standing over your bed, holding another bucket, and she's like about to tip it over, and sees you awake and is like, you ruin the fun every time.
Good. Can I tip the bucket in her face?
Make a dexterity check. Just add your dexterity. We'll see if you beat her.
16.
She has a 19.
Damn it.
As you try to like flip it out of her hand, she just kind of like pulls away and starts like laughing and runs out of the room.
Alright, fair enough.
So you all meet down in the main tavern room of the Dragon's Tooth, all geared up. And then a couple minutes pass by, and you see the dwarf from last night, Kreon. He kind of shuffles down. He's got kind of like slightly ill-fitting armor, has like a crossbow kind of like nestled against his side. He seems a little bit apprehensive and nervous, but he's kind of like, all right, let's get this gone with, and starts to like kind of lead you onwards. He leads you a bit out of the city and follows the road down south, and then past the split in the road where you originally came from when traveling from the Oracle's Temple, continues a little bit further south, and then kind of pulls you off the road for a little bit, and you're kind of in the wilderness. He seems a little bit lost. If someone who is proficient at survival would like to make a survival check to help him find the way, he's kind of like looking around a little floundering.
Sure, I'll shake myself out of like being just a little bit zoned out, and I'll see if I can help him out. So that's going to be a 9.
Oh.
Well, it's better than him. As you kind of like take a couple 20 minutes, you have to like, he's trying to like communicate with you on where he's trying to go, but neither of you are really willing to converse. He's a little bit put off by your mask, but you're able to eventually find a kind of very beat down road. It's been long abandoned. You're following the river down, and then you kind of make a turn off and cross a bridge that was on the normal trail, and then you're kind of making your way through the mountains.
We're like southwest of Astoria.
Yes, correct. And so this long abandoned road is rocky and overgrown with roots and thorny shrubs. It winds westward along the granite cliffs of the Astorian tributary. North of the road are expansive steppes, and beyond that, hazy blue mountains. The sky is gray and cold by day, but at night, the clouds withdraw to reveal a blanket of stars. However, it is not night. It is early morning, and the mists of the day are quickly being burned away by the ever-present drought that has been plaguing these lands for a couple days now, because someone is angry and doesn't like to provide rain when he doesn't have his sacrifices. So you travel along this kind of abandoned road. There's a lot of like times where you kind of lose it and then have to like re-navigate back onto the road. But the going is a bit slow as you travel. Kreon seems to start getting a little bit more confident. He starts like, this way. I remember hearing about this area. Kind of like passes by this like rock cairns that kind of like rise out of the ground. It's around probably midday. You've been making your way along the winding trail, and you hear ahead of you, maybe like 100 feet away, some like yelling and a few sounds of battle, and then it kind of fades to a bit of silence, but you hear still like voices over the trees. It's kind of in front of you along the path.
Can we make out what they're saying?
Make perception checks.
17.
Really only Ato is able to make out like actual words. Most of it just sounds like yelling to the rest of you. Ato, you make out like the sounds of like a commander or a captain yelling orders to troops. The voice sounds a bit feminine. It's like, watch the flank, archers through the trees over there, like kind of quick sounds of battle. And it's only like maybe 30 seconds, and you can hear some like trampling of hooves and then the quiet. And Ato is able to hear like a bit more kind of that yelling, commanding voice, kind of ordering all of her troops to kind of like reorganize and tend to the wounded. And this is kind of further ahead in the path that you're traveling on, further westward.
I definitely clue in the rest of the party. It sounds like there's some sort of battle taking place up there. Perhaps we should proceed with caution.
I will draw my scimitar.
Do you all want to head forward?
Yeah, I say we proceed, albeit cautiously.
So you make your way forward along the path. You kind of can make out the group of people in front of you. They are all armed and armored. And you can see that the one woman is kind of like yelling at people to like kind of pull the dead together and start to like tend to their wounded. You can see some of them have like arrow shafts with like black fletched arrows kind of sticking out of them. A lot of the corpses have multiple arrows stuck in them, as well as some like kind of big gashes along the sides of them. And they all seem kind of injured and harried as she's like kind of say like scan the trees, make sure no one's coming. She then notices all of you as you approach and is like, halt, who goes there? Are you friend or are you foe? And kind of notices that most of you are relatively human. At least half of you.
And certainly armed.
Yes.
Can we get like a little bit more physical description? Are these folks all human? The leader, I can see the icon has 2 axes, but
They're all humanoids. There's a couple dwarves, a couple elves among them.
Mhm.
Kind of like a solid mix of people. But they all have like kind of decently kept together arms and armor. How do you want to approach?
I shout back, depends. What's a friend and what's a foe?
Are you gonna kill us and take our stuff?
Not unless you strike first.
Ha.
That would be like, we'd really just prefer to be on our way, honestly.
Well, if you are on your way, I'm wondering why you're on these roads. Nothing's down here except for the mines.
If there's nothing down here than the mines, where do you think we're heading?
You never know. Folks around these parts can be real unfriendly.
you don't say. And Ito kind of like flourishes his spear a little bit, like clearly showing like, if you're unfriendly, I am armed.
I mean, she's also clearly armed as well.
Yeah, but Ito's cocky.
That's fair. I mean, so is she.
So are we gonna have any trouble here?
I mean, if you're just looking to move on, I have got no quarrel with you. Though we were heading to the mines ourselves till we got ambushed.
Ambushed by what?
Some tribe of half men, half beasts. You know the like.
Can you be more specific?
You know, centaurs, and she kind of spits in the ground.
What business did you have at the mine? Why are you heading that way?
Probably the same as you. Treasure, loot. Heard there was some powerful weapons there from the Dragonlords. We were gonna go see if there was anything left over.
Well, that's more or less the same reason we're going that way.
We're on our way to go clear it out of whatever's decided to go and live in there.
She's about to reply when you start to hear more of those thunderous hooves from before. You see a figure kind of burst through the trees, large spear ready, and the centaur kind of like looks at the 2 groups of people and then says, kind of yells into the forest, "They've got reinforcements. Kill them all." And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Oh, that's a crit fail.
Oh, that's fun.
Nehmet did little better.
I rolled a 4 and I only got a 6. You rolled a 1 and you got a 5.
So the one that gets to act first is, funnily enough, this centaur right here, who will use their action to really make someone's day bad. Will charge forward and make an attack roll against you. The centaur crit.
My.
So that is lots of d6 of damage.
Oh God.
This is gonna hurt. You know how you avoided the charge of
Yeah,
the
I did.
door?
No.
This is comeuppance. Where's my
No!
d10? Alright, well, you're lucky the dice are low,
Yeah.
but that's still 40 damage.
If you would have done 4 more damage, I would be instantly dead.
It's a good thing I
Damn.
rolled 2 1s on those d6, on the d6 and the d10.
Yep.
Alright,
I'm
well,
unconscious.
Nausicaa is unconscious, and then the centaur will move here and hoof attack.
Hoof attack Ylva?
Nah, Ato does a 20.
Yeah.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is 10 damage, bludgeoning, as it
10
hooves you.
damage.
Yeah. So the centaur charges at Nausicaa. You're kind of unprepared for the incredibly fast assault, and it just like lances down with the pike and just catches you right on the side of the head and immediately knocks you unconscious, and then kind of charges forward a little bit more and hoof attacks Ato. Next up is the captain. The captain will make an inspiring yell and will give all of her followers temporary hit points. I guess that counts all of you. All of you gain 4 temporary hit points. She'll make that and then move off in that direction. The other soldiers, there are many of them, will fire their crossbows off in this direction over here where the captain went. All right, these guys are great. There's something over there that you can't see. Nausicaa, it is your turn.
Death save. That's a fail.
Fortunately for you, Ylva is directly after you. So.
Yep.
Whew.
All right, so I'm gonna cast fireball. No,
Fireball right on top of everybody.
No!
I'm gonna like squat down, grab the wolf skull with my left hand, and place the other one on Nausicaa, and cast Cure Wounds.
It's a pretty good idea.
You get 9 hit points back.
And you have 4 temporary hit points.
You have almost as many hit points as I do.
And that's my turn.
Cool. Next up, crashing out of the bushes behind you all.
Oh, fuck.
Fucking hell.
God.
This one will fly out and make a pike attack against Kyra. Kyra kind of like jukes to the side, like kind of ducks under, and is like, all right, you don't have to be that rude. The centaur will then make a hoof attack against Kreon.
No, we need
20 hits. Oh boy.
Oof.
No.
And Kreon is unconscious. He's down on the ground. We'll go with that. Immediately takes a hoof to the temple and falls down. There are trampling noises all around. Then it's Kyra's turn. Kyra's like, oh no, Nausicaa. More worried about Nausicaa than Kreon. She will sing a song. It's not the song that you had before where you get to re-roll a roll. It's another song. She will then bonus action to disengage and will move over here, getting a better view of her beloved heroes as they get massacred by centaurs. It is then the other centaur. It kind of charges out from the side and will make 2 longbow attacks against Ariel. First
No.
one is a 15. Second one is an 8. I assume only the first one hits.
Now if I cast shield, it doesn't.
That's a good point.
Ooh, clutch.
The centaur kind of runs out, takes like 2 longbow shots at the group. One of them just kind of like glances by Ariel, and then she notices the second one's about to hit her and just kind of is like, you can only hit me if I permit it. And then it is the other centaur's turn. But you don't see where it is. You hear more charging the distance. You see this one take an arrow to like the throat and instantly die
From where?
from this direction where the other centaur you see is.
Okay.
And this one immediately falls down as well, taking an arrow in like the shoulder, just under the leather armor. And then it is Nehmet, your turn.
Nehmet will faint left and go into the bushes or tree line over here. And then he's going to look at the centaurs that are around, and he's going to cast Bane. Nehmet is going to bite down on his thumb and like draw a drop of blood and rub it in his palm and say, "Creatures with galloping hooves, hark! May you be baned by this magic. Light on your minds and your spirits as my working faculties."
All right. You can see kind of like the bad omens kind of form over this centaur and this centaur in the south. The one up here seems to be unaffected. They are baned.
Then he inspires Ato.
All right.
I don't have anything quippy written for that one.
It is then Ariel, you're up.
All right. I guess I'm just gonna save fast the closest one to us.
Okay, yeah, make your attack roll.
That is a 20, not natural.
All right, you definitely hit it. These creatures do not have lots of armor, and they are quite easy to hit.
And that is 7 damage.
It takes it. Ato, you're up next.
So the centaur kind of like it turned and hoofed me, and it kind of like knocked me back on my heels, and I like lean forward to rebalance, and I like stand up straight and kind of like roll my shoulders back and take a deep breath. And as my action, I'm going to spend a key point on quickened healing.
Mm-hmm.
I get holy shit! I get 1 entire hit point back.
Oh,
Pretty hot. Don't
That's
forget 10
pretty
hit
great.
points.
Yeah, I also have the 10 hit points. And then, since I used a key point as my action, I can make an unarmed strike as my bonus action. So I kind of like roll my shoulders back, take a deep breath, flip the spear around, backhand in my hand, let out like a battle cry, and do this like leaping strike. So it's a 14 to hit.
Yup, you hit. They have
Alright.
I'll say now, they have an AC of 12.
Woo,
Oh wow,
nice.
that is real
They're-
low. Okay.
They're low.
And
So
that
roll
is
your damage.
6 piercing damage.
6 piercing damage against this same one that molested you. Then it is all the other ones' turns. Some of you can kind of see the one next to the captain as more crossbow bolts like kind of pierce its side. That one looks pretty fucked up. There's like 7 arrows in it. It is then the centaur that is in melee with all of you. It will pike and hoof Ato. That is an 18 on the pike and a 8 on the hooves. So I assume only the pike hits.
Yeah, the pike hits.
That is 9 piercing damage. It'll kind of like stab at you and attack and then move back. If you want to take
Yeah.
your attacks of
React.
opportunity, you
I
can.
certainly
kick.
do.
I
Definitely do
kicked.
that.
That's a 23 to hit.
Yep.
Ooh, that's also a 23 to hit.
That's a miss.
Nice.
Okay, so the 2 of you that do hit, I assume you do not roll a 12 on your punch. Nausicaa.
Got a 7.
Yep. No, you're good. You're still on the ground and you're like, yeah, roll your damage, the 2 of you. I assume you're attacking with the scimitar, Ylva?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just barely grazed it. 4 slashing damage.
And how much damage from Ato?
6.
You kind of like lash out at its hide, leave a couple of marks along its rump, and then it is Captain. She just like cuts this centaur up as she like slashes in 2 of its hooves, and then on like a backhand just kind of slits its throat as it kneels down to her level. She lets out like a triumphant cry, and all of the bandits behind her kind of go, "Yeah, yeah!" And she will then run forward and charge the next one. It is then Nausicaa, your turn.
Yay. Alright. I'm gonna like go into the tree area.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the one that ran away, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna shoot the shot and I'm gonna take the -5 because you know.
Go for it.
Yes. Slay him.
Damn it,
Or-
that's an 11.
Oh no.
Oh, you're 1 off.
Action surge.
Yes.
That's
Do it
a
again.
natural one. God fucking damn it.
Oh, you're still
Alright.
kind of like disoriented from getting like beat in the back of the head with a pike, and both of your shots kind of just arc over its shoulder as it kind of retreats.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my bonus action to second wind.
It's the good idea.
That's a 5 health that I.
It's better than my 1.
Yeah. All right, that is my turn.
It is then Ylva, your turn.
Alright. So is Kreon dead or is he unconscious?
You would have to make a medicine check to figure that out, and maybe be inspecting him. But there is a bit more pressing matters right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, I'm just gonna, now that the one directly in front of us has left, I'm gonna spin around and just sort of pull the skull off of my shoulder, put both hands on it, and just point it at the centaur that's standing over Kreon's maybe dead body, and just sort of let loose a burst of produce flame.
Yeah, make your attack roll.
It's a miss.
And that's unfortunate. Is there anything else you would like to do?
I am going to start cursing in a language that none of you recognize. And that's about it.
All right. The two from that group, you can see kind of advance forward and make their attacks against another target. All right. And then next up is this one. It will step back. So that was like 20 feet of movement, and then it will make its 30 feet forward
Okay.
Oh, good.
and will charge.
All right.
Its first attack is going at Ato. Does a 16 hit.
Oh, it just hits.
Okay. That's 10 and mini d6. 17 damage.
Yep, I'm down.
How much extra damage did you take below 0?
I was at 6 hit points, so 11 extra points of damage.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Con save, I got a 16.
Instead of falling down, you are at 1 hit point.
Ooh, divine intervention.
There might have been a bit of magic that you can feel kind of coursing through. You're able to
Oh, I know
brush off the
exactly what
attack.
divine intervened. She's standing right over there.
Mitros? Oh, weird. Does a 14 hose hit you, Ylva?
14 just hits.
Okay. That one is a bit less damage. That is another 9 bludgeoning damage.
9. All right.
Kyra will then kind of like call out to the centaur and go, "Hey, are you guys in league with the Titans?" She will make an insight check. She rolled very poorly. Well, she's not sure if doing so would be a poor decision. So she'll sing the same song again, because I don't think she wants you to die. So
I appreciate that.
she continues singing "Mercenary" by Iron Maiden. You're all within listening distance, and she will move here to try to get a shot on that centaur when hopefully someone lands the killing blow. The centaur will move this way and fire off arrows at the soldiers. Another black fletched arrow takes another victim, and then it is that one's turn. It can move 20 feet away and then charge 30 feet, and it'll do so. She will let it move, and then it'll charge her. And that would hit, but she parries it. I guess none of you can really see it. Kyra will tell you after the fact, assuming you all live, that this woman has her axes ready. She kind of watches the centaur run away. She lets it leave, and as it turns around to like kind of do a drive-by attack with the pike, she just swiftly steps aside and chops the pike in half.
Ooh.
It then is kind of like shocked at the fact that this fucking human did such an excellent maneuver that it misses its hoof attack. It is then Nehmet, your turn.
Nehmet will move through the trees behind Nausicaa so that he's in range, and he kind of gets really low and holds his quill to his mouth, and he says, "May your imaginings tremble in fear and be entreated by nightmare." And he casts Dissonant Whispers on the one that didn't get Bane, so the one that's in melee with Ylva and Ato.
Does a 13 save?
It does not.
Okay.
So he takes 9 damage.
It then immediately uses its reaction to move 50 feet straight back. It moves away from you. You can take your attacks of opportunity against it.
17?
Yep, that hits.
6 slashing damage from my scimitar.
You kind of like slash at its back hind legs as it like seems to be overcome with terror and just flees. It is then Ariel, your turn.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna do another Ray of Frost, I think.
All right, make your attack roll against it.
That is an 18.
Yep.
7 damage again.
That one's looking a bit rougher. It is then Ato, your turn.
So I'm gonna Finn, this is the closest one to me.
Correct.
I'll turn to it and yell, "Why have you come to attack us? What have we done?"
it will yell back at you. You're with them, aren't you? And is that all you're going to do with your turn?
Can I respond to that, or is that all the talking I can do?
Briefly, but then it won't be able to respond back to you.
We've just come across them. Why are you attacking them? And then I'm going to take the dodge action.
Okay. It will move forward and crossbow the other one. Oh, they're just lining him up, getting ready for the captain to just kill him. That centaur, the one that you spoke to, will then kind of reply back. What's your charisma bonus, Ato?
-1.
-1? Good to
Yep.
know. It's a good passive. Passive of 9. The centaur does not seem quite convinced or like caring that you are not attacking, and is like, well, you're still with them and you're still attacking us too.
Is it going to respond to my question of why it's attacking them?
It'll reply, humans on our territory thinking they can go wherever they please, and then will move back 5 feet and will make an attack against you, Ato.
It has
Disadvantage, I assume.
It is disadvantage, and remember that it's baned.
And it's baned. A 9 misses. And then, do all attacks have disadvantage if you dodge?
Yep, until the beginning of
Okay.
my next turn.
So, but it rolled poorly on the attack against Ylva anyway. It rolled an 8 -3, so no.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Booyah.
like disoriented that now the tables are turning a bit. And then the captain over here will make her 3 attacks. Kyra will narrate to you later that the captain kind of like pushes forward into the centaur's guard. Unfortunately, kind of stumbles a little bit on one of the attacks and misses, but it is severely injuring it. It is then Nausicaa's turn.
All right, I guess I'm just gonna shoot this one up there.
All right,
All right, that's a 14.
that hits.
6 points of damage.
It is then Ylva's turn.
All right. I am going to kind of backstep away towards our little dwarf guide.
You'll take an attack of opportunity.
That's fine.
10 misses.
Yep. And then I'm going to hurl a produce flame, just sort of sending it spiraling down my arm towards the centaur in front of Ato.
Mm-hmm.
12?
Yep, that's the AC.
Sweet. Ooh! And 12 damage.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. That one's looking real rough. Real injured as you suddenly like scorch the side of it. The centaur kind of like rears back in like terror as the flames like scorch its flank. Is there anything else you want to do?
Yeah, bonus action after sending that down. I'm going to kneel down next to Kreon, place a hand on his shoulder, just sort of give him a little bit of a shake, and infusing my words with nature's healing magic, I'm going to cast Healing Word on him and just say, get up, we still need you.
The words appear to not have an effect.
Ooh.
Any effect. It is then their turn. The crossbowers, as this one is also dealt with. And then the centaur up by Ylva will do a thing and will fire off 2 longbow shots at you and kind of
Okay.
like swoop around. That is a natural 19 and a 15.
Those both hit.
Okay. First one is 9 damage,
All right.
and the second one is also 9 damage.
All right. I am unconscious.
How much over 0 was it?
3.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
I got a 4.
All right. You are at 1 hit point, very barely. It is then Kyra's turn. Kyra will kind of like move around a bit and see the battles turning and sing a song, and you all get to do the inspiration thing. You can make a reroll up until her next turn. It is then this one's turn. It will yell out. Oh, a lot of you speak Sylvan, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, those of you that do speak Sylvan, which is most of you, will hear the centaur here kind of yell out, "Leave! Get out! Get out!" And it will make 2 attacks with its longbow towards people up top, finish one of them off, and then will retreat off the map to the south. It is then Nehmet, your turn.
Nehmet will hop out of the trees and see if he can like leap up onto the back of this centaur since it's facing Eto and try and like slash at it in the back with his sword.
All right, make your attack roll.
All right. That is a 15 to hit.
Yep, you hit.
Right on. That is going to be 5 damage.
How do you want to do this for this centaur here?
Yeah, okay, so Nehmet like scrambles up onto the back of the horse body and gets the Kopesh around his neck and just does like a snap neck move with a throat slit at the same time and just like holds onto its neck as it just topples over.
All right, you finish that one off. The 2 remaining start to retreat in opposite directions away. The only one who would really be able to hit him would be Nausicaa. Then the captain will be over there and is kind of pep talking her men. The captain kind of like looks over to all of you guys as you've finished off the last centaur and sees the others retreating and kind of like gives the bro nod to Ato.
I want to go walk up to the captain and ask, why were those centaurs attacking you? They seem to have some kind of problem with you being here. What was that about?
They start like moving those fallen and slain, and you can see the other soldiers kind of like pull out copper coins and lay them over the eyes of their companions. So you want to speak to the captain? What did you say again?
Why were these centaurs attacking you? It seemed they had some sort of enmity towards you.
Oh, well, they're centaurs. Of course they hate us.
Ato just kind of like tilts his head like that's not a good enough answer. What, did you do something to them?
Oh, well, I mean, we were just walking along and traveling the road, and they ambushed us from the trees.
He just kind of grunts and nods and like turns back to check on the rest of the party.
While this is happening, can I like specifically go around grabbing like the arrows off of the centaurs?
Your arrows?
No, their arrows.
Their arrows?
Their arrows.
Sure. You now have black fletched arrows.
How many?
Make a investigation roll.
Make an investigation roll?
Yes.
Okay. That's a 12.
You're able to find 3 arrows that are intact. A lot of them are broken. 3 arrows that you would be fine with firing out of your beautiful bow.
Okay, cool.
Just a quick note, where my healer's at, I got 1 hit point.
Well, quick note, your healer's got 1 hit point.
Well, tend to yourself first, but if you got any juice left.
Quick note, Ariel didn't take any damage.
Wow.
You got attacked like once.
Neither did Nehmet. He'll come by and pat Ito on the shoulder, and he's like, "Go down there. You nearly went down. Let me tend to your wounds a bit." And he says a little tiny poem and casts Cure Wounds on Ito. Hits you fully 12 hit points for Eto.
That is
Max healing on that guy.
hell yeah.
So,
I
what's going
suddenly
on
feel
with our
totally
boy?
fine.
What's going on with our boy here? Is he dead?
Would you like to make a medicine check to
No,
find
make a
out?
medicine check to find out.
You can roll advantage because Ylva's checking too.
Yeah.
That's a 16.
His skull is caved in.
Ah, fuck. Damn.
Yes, that's you could take in a 16.
Yeah. That definitely took a medicine check
Look.
to find out.
As you kind of like move the armor, like as he fell backward, his loose-fitting armor kind of like covered his head. You kind of just like pull it down and go, ugh.
I mean,
no.
just saying, my passive perception is 12.
Buddy. I'm gonna go put 2 gold coins on his eyes.
And say a prayer.
Yeah.
And after
Buddy.
Nausicaa does that, I will just immolate him.
That is fair. The ashes again as they escape into the sky, just disappear. Now that you kind of can take stock, the captain kind of at least talks to either Ato or Nehmet, both of you probably, because you're both kind of like the de facto leaders. And it's like, you handled yourselves well there. Kind of like shakes her hand. It's like, name's Cassandra. Thanks for the help.
Thank you for your help. We are the chosen of Versi. We've set out toward the Mithral Mines in order to go after some of our great labors, and unfortunately it seems that our guide has been killed. Perhaps, since it seems you all are also heading that direction, we could be of use to each other further.
Seems like it.
Are we doing a short rest?
I assume so. The next time you take a long rest, you can level up.
Ouch.
Actually, you know what? I lied. You're going to level up on the short rest.
Just like a flavor thing that I don't think I actually mentioned in the first session when I like introduced myself, but I like thought of now that I got to take my subclass. Ato's shield is like a very specific and weird shape. It's kind of like the size of just a buckler. It's just like the length from like his knuckles to his elbow, and it's a circle, but on both sides, both where his wrist is and towards his elbow, there are kind of semicircle cutouts so that his hand at the wrist is free to move. So he can still like interact with things and like grab things while wearing the shield.
Interesting.
Nice.
Because I thought that would be fun flavor to explain how I can use deflect missiles while holding a shield.
I like that.
I like tried to draw the shield, but it came out really shitty. But yeah, it's like a circle with two semicircles cut out on either side, and it has two words in Greek kind of like embossed on the top and bottom. One of them says pride and one of them says discipline. Or Philotimo and Pitharchia.
All right. You're in point. Who's following after Ato?
I'll go second. I'll go after Ato.
I'll take up the rear.
I'll be
Okay.
in the middle.
You'll
In
take
the
the
most like
rear of
protected place.
the player characters.
Yeah.
We'll have Cassandra and her men will be trailing a bit behind. A couple more hours pass by. By now, it's a little after midday. You probably took like a break really briefly to snack. Yeah, so around like 2 p.m.-ish, taking into account your short rest, you come up behind like a crossroad along the road. And first, Ylva picks up on this. You hear what sounds like hoofs, like
good.
thundering hooves in the distance.
Oh,
no.
And the rest of you kind of start to take notice. You can see Cassandra kind of like draws her axes and like kind of is looking around, groups up with her men,
All three of them.
I'm
all
gonna
three of them. I mean,
pull-
she feels pretty good with you all here. If you guys want to move around at all,
I'm gonna stay right in the middle of the crossroads.
If Nehmet starts to hear hooves, he rolls into the bush.
I would like to try and hide in the bush.
make a stealth check.
22.
22. You feel pretty stealthy.
Best roll of the night.
Nausicaa, you want to climb a tree. Make an athletics check.
Make an athletics check.
Correct.
Oh boy. 19.
19. See, you picked proficiency in athletics, right?
Yep.
You are able to expertly climb up the tree, and you're kind of like perched between two different branches, bow drawn,
Oh, with the bow
snake hair kind of like splayed out. Some of the snakes like wrap around a couple of small branches to keep your head in
Ooh.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can
imagine the equivalent for a non-Medusa climbing up a tree and tying your hair to branches to stay up there.
Imagine how much that would have hurt.
Right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that would hurt a lot. Oh god.
It was your idea, Sam.
I mean, that's fair. Okay. As the thundering hooves starts to approach you from the north, Ato and Nausicaa can see it easily. You can see a dozen mounted men riding your direction. They wear bronze helmets and carry long pikes tied with flowing scarlet ribbons, kind of similar to the pikes that you saw before, that were just stabbing you and knocking you unconscious. As the riders draw closer, you realize that they aren't riders at all. These are more centaurs. You see many centaurs
Oh,
approaching.
Oh God.
Okay, so they're all approaching as they ride in. It's a even mix of male and female centaurs. You can see, at least Nausicaa can tell, they have weapons that are drawn, but not lowered as if they're charging you like your previous experience. They ride forward and start to encircle you, but they don't make any overtly aggressive movements. They just kind of like ride around you, which, in all honesty, is kind of terrifying because
Yeah, I
they're
was
really
gonna
big
say.
fucking horses. The lead one kind of approaches, I guess, Ato, because you're kind of like addressing them
Hell yeah.
and kind of notices you and is like, ah, you're one of those heroes from before, from that prophecy. Is that correct?
Yes, he kind of like gestures to the general direction of, I guess, Ariel, who is the only one still like plainly in view. We are the chosen of Versi, and his voice kind of breaks as he like turns and sees that only Ariel's there. We are the chosen of Versi.
Nausicaa's not hiding in the trees.
Yeah, Nehmet is just standing in the tree line. I wouldn't say that he's hiding. Ylva is the only one who made a motion to hide.
Ato was still like expecting everyone to be like rallied behind him, and they're not. He's kind of like, okay, well,
Ariel
whatever.
kind of smiles at him like, yeah, I'm all you got.
I get it. We're not you guys aren't soldiers. I miss home. Whatever.
I mean, you got Cassandra there.
That's true. Yeah, she's right behind me, but she doesn't have an oath of fellowship.
That is correct. The centaur introduces himself as Hukar, and he says that this is my tribe of centaurs here. We roam the lands around, I assume, the Mithral Mines where you're headed.
Yes, that is where our quest takes us, and we have picked up these fellow adventurers. He gestures to Cassandra and her warriors, who are also headed that direction.
They are kind of wary because they are extremely outnumbered, but they are kind of happy that the centaurs are not stabbing them like before. But they still have their weapons drawn.
I do too, for that matter. I'm holding my spear. I'm not like aggressive with it, but yeah.
They respect it. They also have spears and bows and staves drawn.
Wow.
At least in the case of the one that is standing directly behind Hukar. He then kind of tells you the mines are situated in the Great Falls ahead of you. There has recently been an incursion of, I believe they're called troglodytes. And he kind of describes like these disgusting, kind of scaled, like lizard frog people that like have crawled up from the depths of the earth and have infested the caves in the area. He says that they've noticed them at night kind of hunting, and that two of their tribe members he thinks were grabbed by them last night, so very recently.
Our quest takes us to the Mithral Mountain in order to cleanse it of any incursions like that of which you speak. Perhaps our interests are aligned.
So he kind of like strokes his large beard. It's like, he kind of reaches into a satchel, pulls out like a large ivory horn, and hands it to you, and is like, if you find them, get them to safety out of the caves that they have probably been taken in, and blow on this. We will arrive shortly to assist you if you are being chased out of the caves by anything nasty.
Ito kind of like sets the butt of his spear on the ground and like bows and says, we are thankful for your assistance and we'll do all that we can.
He also kind of like kneels at you. He then mentions, I warn you that the paths into the caves are very treacherous. You must head behind the waterfall. You'll notice, you can see why we cannot venture there ourselves once you get there.
How does Cassandra appear? Is she like not happy that we're granting counsel to these centaurs? She seemed kind of racist before.
Make an insight check.
Insight is wisdom, so I'm probably okay at it. +4. That's a 12.
She kind of seems tolerant of your efforts.
Okay. Do the centaurs part and allow us to pass?
Yes, they do.
All right. Is Hukar going to join us as we journey towards the mine, or are they going to depart?
He'll send the one with a staff and 2 of the
Ooh.
other centaurs to kind of follow you.
We now have an NPC soldier escort and an NPC centaur escort.
They will not be joining you in the dungeon. They are just
Cool.
making sure you're safe along the way.
Yeah.
Once it becomes clear that they aren't going to be leaving, I come out of the brush.
Okay, so I suppose we continue onward with our motley crew of heroes and NPCs.
Yeah.
Ato has no interest in like talking to these centaurs and learning their backstory, but
course
someone
not.
might be curious about the one with the staff. I don't
Yeah, Ariel doesn't give a shit.
know.
If we're walking, if they let me, I would like to walk behind the centaurs in order to keep tabs on them.
All right,
Dude.
yeah, they're fine with that.
Don't stand behind a horse, man. Don't you know anything?
All
Bam!
That's how you get dead, man. That's not
Hey,
okay.
right, so you will be behind those centaurs. Ariel, what do you want to do?
Ariel will just stick close to Ato. Behind
Alright.
him.
Up in
You'll
the
be up
front.
there.
Behind him, yes.
As you march onward, Tyra will make small talk with the one with the staff. We'll kind of talk about where they are, what's going on, what's happening in the area. Any of you who listen in, you learn that the centaur's name is Hestia, and that there are some different centaur tribes have amassed near Astoria, extremely loyal ones to Sidon, almost cultish followers of Sidon. You kind of get the feeling that this group of centaurs, like, they are respectful of Sidon, and they appreciate him, but they're not like all followers of the 5 must die. They're kind of like, maybe both gods and titans have values that should be respected, even if one of those sets of values is like kill all people. But whatever. There's like talk of other centaurs that are getting more aggressive, tribes that are like attacking, like raiding caravans and just absolutely decimating some of the trade along the road between Mitros and Astoria. So just some small talk.
As Ariel kind of like takes up the lead behind Ato, he'll kind of like look over his shoulder to make sure everyone is following and notice that Ariel is the first behind him and kind of like look at her for a second and just kind of, kind of like didn't really expect that from you. Doesn't like say anything to her, but just like it's an audible grunt of like confirmation, like, okay, I get it.
Ariel just low key doesn't believe someone could be that boring. Like there must be something else going on.
I mean, in Ato's view, you've finally done something besides hide and cast spells at a long distance.
Not
Admittedly,
hiding.
all you've done is like go second in line in a marching order, but you're already a little bit higher in his view, a little bit.
I mean, that's good, but Ariel doesn't care what other people think.
All right, you continue onward.
Yes, onward towards the waterfall. And I presume if we come up to any other crossroads or anything, I'll turn back and ask Hestia which way the waterfall is.
The road, in this case, continues mostly straight until you start making your way up the mountainside through like some rocky hills and cliffs. As you start to approach, you hear the sound of like crashing water. And as you crest over a hill, you can make out the vista that are the Great Falls of Archelon, this large river in this area. The river cascades over a sheer cliff and roars into a vast semicircular lake, throwing up a white mist. The Great Falls are almost beyond description. It's as if the entire ocean has spilled over the edge of the world, and you stand marveling at the space beyond. You have never seen anything so grand. The sound of rushing water is almost deafening, and the light of the fading day gleams across the water like red gold. 4 massive statues of stone hands surround the lake. To the south, you can see the river snaking down from the mountains through the old woods, while the snow-capped Mithral Mountains dominate the western horizon. And you can kind of see a wooded path that kind of snakes its way down the hill to the riverbank. As you kind of make your way down the riverbank, or from the top of the hill, the centaurs are like, as you can see, it's over there. We'll be in contact, I assume. If you find our tribe members alive or dead, please let us know. They kind of like emphasize they're probably dead. They expect the worst. And from the top of the hill where you are, you can see a collapsed entrance to the mine.
What time of day is it currently?
It is late in the afternoon, so the sun is starting to set. There's some shadows cast by the mountains in front of you.
We've been walking for kind of a while.
Yes,
All right.
a lot of small talk. Kyra just doesn't shut up ever.
As Hestia says what she says, Ato bows again like he did to Huskar and says, "Hopefully we will be in touch with you very soon with good news." And he like bids them safe travels.
Hestia kind of like kneels as like a horse does
Mm-hmm.
to like bow as well. So as you make your way down the path, you can see a rocky ledge that kind of goes up to your left side. You're approaching the southern bit of the river, and you can see off to your left there's a rocky kind of like ledge that goes like through a short tunnel, and it kind of goes behind the waterfall. Around the lake where you are now, there's like large, massive stone hands that are just like reaching out of the earth as they just stand there as hands.
Does Ato like know anything about this area? Is there like I know it's pretty far from home for him, but
Not particularly.
he probably also mumbles something under his breath about contemini, seeing hands reaching out from the earth.
Do you want to go into the secret path through the rocks?
Ylva pipes up and says, "Perhaps we should stay somewhere for the night before we go too deep in here."
Oh yeah, that's true. If it's like sundown, this makes sense. It's a good time to make camp. Ato is like, the sun is going below the horizon. Guys, I need to sleep.
So I'm
Need
getting
my-
tired.
Need my beauty rest.
If you want a long rest, you can do so along the edge of the lake. Are you going to be setting a watch while you rest?
Good idea, but my perception is low, so someone else should do it.
Cassandra will say that, we can take first watch if you want. Actually, it should be 4 watch with 2 hours of watch each.
2 hours. Okay.
Should be
I can
4.
talk. I have proficiency in.
Well, I will take the last one.
I'll take the last watch as
I'll take the second one with Ylva.
Yeah, second watch.
If they're in open watch, Nehmet will take it.
Alright.
All right. So the order is Cassandra, and presumably her squad, and then Ylva and Ariel, and then just Nehmet, and then Nausicaa and Ato.
Yeah.
All right. The first watch happens, and someone had some sense and stayed awake and watched Cassandra. And then second watch, you're woken up by Kyra, and make perception check.
20, not natural.
As everyone's kind of resting with the dull crashing of water from the waterfall, you are able to make out kind of a rustling of leaves from the direction of the cave entrance.
I'm gonna sort of gesture in that direction to Ariel and pull out my scimitar. Stand up and maybe try and like slowly walk a little bit closer and just say, "I have 5 seconds to make your intentions known."
What will happen is the brushes kind of part as you like kind of push brushes aside a bit. You can see there is a large deer that has come down to the lakeside and is sipping at the lake.
Psych.
I laugh her ass off.
I just sort of turn and glare back at her through my mask. I guess I'd walk back towards where everyone is sleeping for the time being.
All right. The rest of the night passes by uneventfully. Nehmet, roll a perception check.
Oh, buddy. Oh, that's not great. That is a 5.
You get kind of lost in the sounds of the waterfall, just like the dull hum of it, and just kind of looking over at the wilderness as the stars roll by. You go to wake up Ato and Nausicaa for their watch when you hear a kind of crack of branches, and out of the shadows jump very ugly creatures. They're as Hukar described. They are like part lizard, part amphibian, and then as soon as they start to get close to you, you just smell this awful, awful stench of like rotting fish and feces and just really terrible cocktail of scent. And the one that runs up and attacks you will do so with advantage because you're surprised.
So it's just Nehmet who's awake right now.
Correct. It comes up and swings with its claws and gets a 20 to hit. No, 21 to hit.
Of course.
And that is 6 slashing damage as it slashes at you. And then it will hit you twice more, a 19 and a 17.
Both hit.
All right, that's another 4 piercing and 4 slashing damage. And I would like you to roll initiative. And roll the sleeping people for initiative, because these things are making noise now. Everyone roll initiative. All right, top of the initiative order, you hear a very loud yawn as Kyra kind of opens her eyes, takes a whiff of the air, and like goes, ugh, ugh, and just kind of like pulls her sleeping bag and clothes like over her face and hides herself. And then it is the first one's turn. It will be attacking. Are you all in tents? Is that how you sleep?
Ato is definitely in a tent.
I am under the stars.
Okay.
Nehmet is also under the stars.
As is
Ariel
Kyra.
for sure does not have a tent.
Does Nausicaa have a tent?
Am I the only one with a tent?
No.
Okay. You're the only one with a tent. You're the only one
Now
who
I
cares
feel
about
weird.
privacy. No, it's fine. Cassandra and her men have brought a tent.
Now I like them more now.
they have extra tents, seeing as they lost 75% of their group. But the one will attack Ariel. You're sleeping.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
A
no.
24 hits.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not that bad. You take 8 piercing damage as you get bit in the arm by one of these monstrosities, and then second attack because you're prone has advantage, and then a 23 and a 17, I assume, hit.
Yes.
All right, that's another
Oh no.
total of 10 slashing damage.
Oh no.
I have 3 hit points.
Nehmet, there was a trog in your face.
How are the trogs laid out?
There is one directly in front of you, one standing over Ariel, and as you take note, there is a third one standing over Nausicaa, and a much bigger one that is fatter and stronger that is standing over Ylva.
How many of them can I get in a 10-foot cube without hurting my friends?
Without hurting your allies,
That's an important qualifier.
you could only hit the one in front of you. All the other ones are right next to other people, and they're kind of like surrounding you. If it's all attacked from different angles.
So how many of them can I get in a 10-foot cube hurting the least amount of my friends then?
The problem is you were going to wake up Ato, so you would hit all of your allies that are asleep as well.
Nehmet is going to raise his Kopesh and smack it against like the dagger that he's also got in his hilt in the direction of the big Trog and the one that's next to Kairos, and he's gonna center a shatter spell like right here to try and hit the two of them.
Okay. I thought you were going with Thunder Wave. That would be my bad.
No.
You could definitely hit those two with the shatter spell.
He says like, "Everybody wake up, we're under attack!" And he clangs the two weapons together and casts Shatter.
Alright, how much damage?
So 14 thunder damage.
Okay, and then half on a save?
Half on the save. Which one saved?
The big one.
Of course he did.
the bigger, badder one with more con than most of the party was able to save. Additionally, I want you to make a Constitution saving throw, Nehmet.
Oh, that's not fantastic. 8.
You are poisoned until the start of the creature's next turn.
Excellent. What does that mean for me?
You, I think, have disadvantage on attacks and ability checks. Not saving throws, though. Then it will be Ariel. You're awake. You've been bitten and clawed.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do Crown of Madness. With a wisdom save.
The one next to you?
Yeah.
13 probably does not save.
Oh, it's a 14. Ah.
Excellent. Crown of Madness makes it you madness things.
Yeah, so a twisted crown of jagged iron appears on his head, and madness glows in his eyes. It has to use this action before moving, which is interesting, and it makes a melee attack against a creature that I mentally choose.
Good to know. So clearly you choose Ato, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no on that one.
I will also say that everyone's awake because of the shatter spell. So you are not incapacitated, you are all just prone.
Oh, and I'd like to get up.
That is a good decision. Yeah, Ylva and Nausicaa, you had like kind of an explosion sound next to you, just like a loud like shattering of millions of bottles of glass.
I just like sit straight up.
A few of the snakes are gonna cover my ears.
Oh, did I completely splatter that Trog?
Oh, absolutely. It just died instantly. Is there anything else that you would like to do, Ariel? You stand up. You madness the Trog. Oh, also, roll a con save. My bad. It smells bad.
18.
You just like pinch your nose and turn the other cheek.
Nice.
So you're fine. And that also makes you immune for the next hour.
Cool.
Oh.
It is then the big beefy boy.
Oh,
Oh, good. Oh, good.
He is slightly better at his attacks. A 20 total, a 19 total, and a 15 total on Ylva.
Yeah, those all hit.
That is 6 piercing damage and 12 slashing damage as it bites and claws twice into you.
Cool. Cool.
It is then your turn.
What the fuck was that? Ah!
It's just this big, disgusting creature that like looms over you
So,
after it like
Con
bit
save.
into you. Yes, con save.
15?
All right, you make this one. This one's stinkier than the others as well, but you were able to save.
Alright, I'm going to just sort of like flip over and sort of just scramble for the wolf skull, flip back over and just say, "Get off!" And as I do so, like my voice booms and I cast Thunder Wave.
You will cast Underwave. All right, con save.
Yes, and at second level.
A 7 total does not make it.
get it away from me.
Alright, this is gonna hurt. 17 damage and it's pushed 10 feet away from me.
Wah! As you launch it like upwards and out, it's able to like scramble up, but it is significantly more hurt than before.
I will stand up and that's it. Yeah, just stand up.
All right, and then the one in front of you, Nehmet, will attack you again. A 15, and that one misses, and a 14. What's your AC?
14.
Okay, 2 attacks hit, 1 bite and 1 claw. 3 piercing and 6 slashing
All right.
as it continues to ferociously attack you. And now you can notice that this one has like a bag of fish thrown over its shoulder.
That's the source of the smell. Get that one.
These are fresh fish. The rotting is definitely from the monster.
Oh, fresh fish. Hell yeah.
Ato, it's your turn.
Ito will emerge from his tent. Already has his helmet and his skirt on, but like not the like armor on the skirt, not his sandals or harness, just the helmet and skirt. And is going to spend half of his 40-foot movement to stand up out of his tent. And he's going to kind of quickly assess the situation. See, oh, there's a bunch of like lizard monsters attacking my friend. And kind of like pick up his spear and shield as he stands and rush towards the closest frog and make a attack. Wait, do I have to do the start of turn save?
No.
No? Okay. So I'll stand and rush forward with my spear and make a spear attack. That is a 20 to hit, not natural.
Yep.
7 piercing damage. I stab him forehand with the spear. So he's still up. All right, I'm going to bonus action attack as I pull the spear out of him, whip around, and slash at him with the spear. This was a 9 to hit.
That does not, unfortunately, hit.
All right. Kind of miscalculate how far away from me he is, and he kind of like reeled back from the initial stab, and I missed with my swipe. I was trying to be too fancy, spinning around and shit.
It is then Nausicaa, your turn.
Okay. Gonna stand up.
Yep.
Gonna pull the bow out of the sleeping bag.
Uh-huh. String it
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah. And then shoot that one with shadow arrow shot.
What does that one do?
Ooh, new subclass feature.
This one, so if it hits, that is a 21 to hit.
Yup.
Takes 7 points of piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, it also takes 9 points of psychic damage. And it must make a wisdom saving throw. And if it fails, it cannot see further than 5 feet away.
All right. Well, I don't think dead things can see further than 5 feet away
okay.
anyway. So how does it look like when your shadow arrow just
It's just an arrow
annihilates it?
black that shoots it like right in the eye, and the eyes just go black.
That's black as the night sky. More eye taking. All right.
Eye taker Nausicaa strikes again.
Anything else you want to do?
Action surge.
Yeah.
Gonna wheel around and shoot that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take the -5 because
Ooh.
goddamn it, 7.
Unfortunately, 7 misses.
Unlucky.
The 4 other people you travel with will kind of burst out of their tents, very naked, kind of take stock of everything, and will like try to stab with daggers at the troglodytes. They're all like bleary and sleepy-eyed. The one next to Nehmet gets kind of stabbed apart by naked, very sleepy bandits. They are not too happy to be woken up by a shatter spell and then a thunder wave. They're kind of like glaring at you all. And then Kyra will, from her bedroll, like cover herself completely and just go like, make him go away, shut up, trying to sleep. And will do nothing. Nehmet, there's one left.
Nehmet turns around to the other one, strikes at it with his Kopesh. Oh, Christ almighty, a natural 1.
It's a big rip. You are kind of like slightly startled by the 2 naked men in front of you who are wielding daggers.
Nehmet is still holding his dagger because he had both of them in his hands to cast the shatter spell for flavor, and because he has 2 weapon fighting, he can make a bonus action attack with the dagger
That is
on the trog. That's a 15 to hit.
You hit.
All right. That is 6 damage altogether.
Can you add your modifier to 2 weapon fighting?
Oh, that's right. No, I guess not. So just 3.
Then it is Ariel's turn.
Okay, so this guy that I Charmed. We're supposed to take his turn. I think maybe he got skipped,
Was he? Yeah, he might have.
but he can go now if that's alright with you. So I have to use my action to maintain concentration.
If you choose nothing, does it just attack nothing?
Target acts normally if you don't choose. Oh wait, can we kill the other guy? I missed that. Alright. If we kill the only thing that he could attack, right? Because the other two are on our side, right?
Sure.
That was convincing. I'm just gonna drop concentration then. I will firebolt him.
You will have disadvantage in melee range.
Ooh. Okay. I'll Toll of the Dead.
9 does not save. Roll your damage.
That's a 5.
5 damage?
Yeah.
Alright, how do you kill this Trog?
Hell yeah. His eyes get really wide and he just starts bleeding out of his ears and his eyes and his mouth. Like really horrifying.
That's something normal that happens, yeah. Cool. There are bandits. They're naked. They want to go back to sleep. There is fresh fish amongst the troglodytes. They appear to also have a couple rudimentary fishing poles that they've brought with them. And they were like, we can augment our fish with fresh sentient beings.
Given the exceptional olfactory response from these troglodytes, Ito will, the one that's closest to him, he'll kind of like stick with his spear and like drag it away from camp a bit.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Kyra is very happy
Ylva
with you.
just sort of like pulls out two gold coins and looks towards Nehmet and just says, "Do these things need coins? Yes? No?
I think it'd be better just to immolate them.
Very well." And I'm just gonna burn them for the sake of getting rid of the smell.
Microwave the fish. Yes.
I'm gonna go grab some of the fish, and because my watch is starting, I'm gonna start cooking.
Ito spends the beginning of his watch tearing down his tent and like kind of grumpily putting on his harness like, I got woken up too early. Whatever.
No,
I
it's
wasn't able
gonna-
to do my
it's gonna-
stretching before combat. My
probably pulled a muscle and just gonna throw me off all day.
Straightens his helmet and like tightens down his boots like, whatever, and like starts his kata.
Everyone wakes up. Now your long rest is complete
Nausicaa's gonna do like a morning jog.
around a bit of the lake.
Yeah.
There are many tracks you recognize as similar to the troglodyte tracks. Like around the lake, there's like spots where they appear to have left like a broken fishing pole. Yeah, they've been all around this area. And I think that's a good time to end it before you delve into the Mithral Mines.